Bitcoin Paynyms are privacy-focused, publicly shareable IDs that can be shared in lieu of posting static Bitcoin addresses. Of course, static Bitcoin addresses can be tracked and audited at all times. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to use Paynyms using Sparrow Wallet for desktop. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, quick shout out to sponsors of the show, Shakepay.com. If you're in Canada and you're buying Bitcoin, this is one of the easiest and best ways to do it. No deposit fees, no withdrawal fees. E-transfers are simple. There's a thin spread, and after you use the link down below to purchase your first $100 worth of Bitcoin, they will give you $30 for free. You also get the same deal if you refer any friends and they use that link of yours. And after that, you can shake your phone every single day for free sats. They've also got a sats-backed Visa card, so be sure to check that out. LEDN.io allows you to use your Bitcoin for a ton of different services, but in particular, if you're in a pinch and you need to get your hands on dollars, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, perhaps because, of course, that's a taxable event, and maybe you're worried about having to buy back in at a higher price, well, this could be for you because you can deposit Bitcoin here, get a loan of dollars to your bank account within 24 hours, and when you pay back those dollars, you get back the same amount of Bitcoin. They also have savings accounts for Bitcoin and USDC, and they have their B2X offering if you're feeling pretty bullish on price action. Check them out in the links down below. Now, living on Bitcoin has never been simpler. With Bitrefill.com, you can buy just about any gift card you can imagine here. And you can pay, of course, with Bitcoin both on-chain and via the Lightning Network. You earn sats back as you shop, and you also have access to their referral program to earn you back even more sats. So be sure to check them out. There's a ton of great stuff on here. Now, you guys know Keystone, one of my favorite and most used hardware wallets. I love it because it's 100% air gapped, meaning you never plug it into anything internet connected. It's all done offline via QR code. This means the keys to your money are safe and away from internet connections. I highly recommend you upgrade to the Bitcoin only firmware, and this thing works beautifully with wallets like Blue Wallet, Sparrow, Spectre, Wasabi, all of them. It's awesome and is really good in a Bitcoin multi-sig, so be sure to check that out. There's a link in the show notes as well. And finally, if you are backing up any important Bitcoin wallet, make sure you get it in solid steel. I've said it time and again, but paper just doesn't cut it, especially if you got a meaningful amount of funds on there. Water damage, fire damage, all that kind of stuff. The BillFodl gets it in solid steel, and those worries tend to go away. This is how I back up my important Bitcoin wallets, so check them out over at privacypros.io. Let's dive in, everybody. Now, just a little housekeeping here in terms of prerequisites. If you are unfamiliar with how to use Sparrow Wallet from the get-go, then you may want to check out my original Sparrow Wallet video, which is in the show notes down below. I also have one on Sparrow Wallet using Whirlpool for CoinJoin and greater privacy there. On top of that, if you want to see Paynyms in action via Samourai Wallet as opposed to Sparrow on desktop, you can also check out that down below. This will not be a video that includes regular use or how to regularly use the Sparrow Wallet sending transactions. This will focus solely on how to utilize Paynyms. So if you need all that, all of those prerequisite tutorial videos, again, are in the show notes. Now, on Paynyms themselves, a little bit of a deeper explanation before we start diving into how to use them. This creates a link between you and somebody using a wallet with the same specification, with the Paynym spec actually rolled out to it. So right now, this consists of Samourai Wallet for mobile and for Sparrow Wallet on desktop, and those are interoperable. So you can interact with somebody on Samourai from Sparrow and vice versa, or on the same platform. Doesn't matter. And so what this does is it creates a link between you and another person so that you can create addresses in between each other and share them without actually publicly sharing them elsewhere. So for instance, if I wanted to post a donation address, if I post a static Bitcoin address, then anybody looking at that address can audit all of the transactions that go into it, and they can also audit where those funds go from there on in, and kind of, it gives a good starting point for tracking all of those funds. Whereas if I post a Paynym, which is a special ID that is easily readable, this allows people to connect with me and create their own addresses that will be directed to my wallet without those addresses being publicly identifiable. Regardless of how many people connect to me, there will never be address reuse between individuals that connect to me independently. So while the transactions still take place, of course, on the public blockchain, it is not immediately evident that those addresses belong to me as somebody who has pasted a Paynym ID. And so that kind of gives greater privacy off the hop. And the only privacy implications down the line would be if I make mistakes, or if I associate those funds later on with services that identify me. So it just gives you a better starting point for privacy, especially rather than posting a regular Bitcoin address to a public forum. So with that, let's dive in and let's start using Paynyms on Sparrow. So here we are in Sparrow Wallet, and I've actually got two wallets here open. I've got my test wallet that I typically do all of my tutorials with, but I've also created a new wallet here just called Sparrow Paynym Tutorial. And the reason for that is I want to show you how to claim your Paynym ID. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So if you have an existing Sparrow wallet, all you need to do to get your Paynym ID is go to Tools, Show Paynym. This is going to open up this screen here. This gives you a payment code, but also you can hit Retrieve Paynym, and this will generate a Paynym ID. So you can see it here. There's a little plus sign, and then it's called Polished Frog 00E. And that is a shareable public ID that comes with this little bot image here as well. And that is how you can be identified and receive payments via Paynyms. And so we're actually going to copy this information. Now you can copy either one, the payment code or the Paynym, and anybody with that information can add you as a contact and establish a connection to be able to send you payments without requiring you to give them Bitcoin addresses or post them in public forums. So we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to copy, well, let's copy the Paynym ID this time, and we're just going to hit done. Now we'll jump over to this already established test wallet that I have here. I already have a Paynym ID with it, but within Sparrow, to add a Paynym contact, I'm going to go to Tools, Show Paynym again. And so this one is called Misty Dream 984. It's already been used. You can see I have some contacts here already. So I'm going to just paste in the Paynym ID that I copied from the other one, and this could be texted to me, whatever, and I can hit Add Contact. And so what adding a contact does is it allows me to send a transaction to my contacts only if they are online, as in the other person needs to be online to help me generate a Bitcoin address to send to. However, I can bypass that and be able to generate my own addresses if I send a small transaction on the blockchain to establish a connection. And that means that the person can be offline and I can generate an address for them at any point that I please. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it was Polished Frog 00E that I want. And all I need to do is hit Link Contact. And it says linking to this contact will allow you to send to it non-collaboratively through unique private addresses you can generate independently. It will cost 546 sats to create the link plus the mining fee. Would you like to send the transaction? I can hit yes. And this will generate a transaction. We'll get a notification for it when it goes out. And this transaction will allow me in the future after it confirms to be able to generate receiving addresses for this contact without them having to do it for me. So there goes that transaction going out of Sparrow Wallet. As soon as that confirms, I'll be able to send to them without them providing me any Bitcoin addresses from here on in. And nobody will know necessarily that those addresses are theirs unless they do something privacy compromising in the future to change that. So our connection transaction is now has a few confirmations on it. So we can now freely create and send to addresses of Polished Frog out of this test wallet. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So I'm going to hit send, much like I would normally sending out of Sparrow Wallet. And this time, instead of pasting in a Bitcoin address, there's a little drop down over to the right here. And so if I hit that, it will show me any wallets that are currently open in Sparrow Wallet. So I'll ignore that. But down at the bottom, there's an option for Paynyms. So I'm going to click on that. And this will open up, again, that familiar screen that we saw before of Paynyms. And then here we can choose who we would like to send to. And I would like to send to Polished Frog, the new one that we just created in that other wallet. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit select contact, and that will fill it out right here. Now, I'm going to give this a label. I'm just going to call test nym, and I will send over, let's say, 100,000 sats. Okay, that's just around $37 or so. Okay, bump the fee a little bit just because we're making a tutorial. We don't want to wait around too long. And that is about that. We will dive into some of this privacy stuff momentarily in regards to Paynyms, but we can see it's going to this Paynym. We gave it a label. We have 100,000 sats going to it. We set our fee. That's pretty much it. So we're going to hit create transaction. And you can see it will auto generate an address for this individual because we're now linked, and that all looks good. So I'm going to hit finalize for signing. We're going to hit sign, and then we're going to broadcast. All right, and off that goes, and we can see two notifications because of course we both have both wallets open. We can see it going out of one wallet and into the next, this one with the on-chain fee and this one just receiving the funds. If we jump into the Paynym wallet that we created, we can see we've got an incoming transaction indeed for 100,000 sats, and we did not have to provide anyone with an actual Bitcoin address publicly, which is kind of the cool part about Paynyms. Since we're here in this wallet, since somebody established a connection with us, we can actually go ahead and see who that was. So we can go to tools, we can go to show Paynym, and so it shows our Paynym information from before, but we also see we now have a follower right here. And we can actually follow that same individual. We can just type in their Paynym information above. And in doing so, we see a contact pop up, and we can hit add contact. And this now allows us to link up and send to and from each other easily. So again, I just want to reiterate the distinction between following and actually establishing a link by sending a transaction online when it comes to Paynyms. If you follow someone, then you can actually, if they are online, generate a new payment address for them. But if they are offline, that is not possible. By sending that on-chain transaction, by doing that extra step, again, it allows you to generate a new payment address for them privately at any point, regardless of whether the individual happens to be online or not. Now, another handy tool that comes along with Paynyms is the ability to do cahoots transactions, which in essence is a two-person coin join. And what that does is it obfuscates the actual amount being sent, and nobody's quite sure how many people were involved because it looks like a coin join. You can create fake coin joins within Sparrow Wallet, but you can also add a collaborator from outside of your own wallet that will contribute coins to the transaction, and again, make it difficult to tell who sent what to whom and for how much. So we're going to dive into how to do that using Paynyms right now. So here we are in Sparrow and we have a transaction set up, and I'm just going to show you how you would start a Cahoots transaction or a two-person coin join. So effectively we've got a destination address, or this could be another Paynym address if you prefer. You have your label, you have your amount being set up and your fee set up. And then down at the bottom, there's a toggle switch between optimizing for efficiency or privacy. And you can see if I hit privacy, it gives me the option to add a mix partner. You also may see the option to create a fake coin join, which would use multiple UTXOs from your wallet. However, that is not the case here. And even if it does show that option, you can still hover over the little highlighted area and add a mix partner instead. Okay, so in this case, I'll just show how to initialize this, but we won't go through with the full transaction. But you hit add a mix partner. And at this point, you can type in a Paynym or payment code, or if you hit the drop down button, it will actually show all of your contacts that you currently have. So you can select one, like this one is one that I have on my Samourai wallet that I did in, or that I utilized for a bunch of different things, most recently in another tutorial. And at that point, I can hit next. And this will now propose the transaction to the other Samourai user. Now, they need to be aware and they need to go looking for it. So basically, in my other tutorial, I showed that from the receive screen on Samourai, there are three little dots in the top right of the screen, and you can then hit receive Cahoots transaction and then approve it. We're not going to go through with that right now, but this is how you would propose it. And once the person approves it, and as long as their wallet has enough funds to facilitate it, it will go through and you can finalize, create the transaction, sign it, and broadcast it. As simple as that. So you just need to wait on the person to approve it. So just make sure that they're there and ready if you're about to do that. Now, I also would like to show what it looks like to approve from your end a Cahoots transaction. So I've initiated a transaction from my Samourai wallet, and again, this could be coming from another Sparrow user, Samourai, it does not matter, but you would be linked up with this individual, and they would just let you know, hey, I'm doing a Cahoots transaction, can you go check? And so the way you do that is you go to Tools and find Mix Partner. And this shows right off the bat, hey, you've got an incoming transaction, a proposed transaction from Misty Dream 984. And at this point, again, you just say mix using the current wallet, whatever wallet you're using. You hit next. And now it says this is the person that is trying to do a two-person coin join with you, and I would be paying half the miner fee. I hit next. And then this would create the transaction here, creating the mixed transaction. And again, right now, the funds necessary to do this are not available within the wallet, which is why I'm not going all the way through. But assuming that they were, then I would be able to create this transaction and send it off as per usual, and that would be done on the Samourai end. In terms of the amount of funds necessary there, just so you know, the Samourai wallet that I'm working with right now has a very small balance in it. So that is why we see this dialog failed message. But regardless, that is how you would find and accept a Cahoots transaction from within Sparrow Wallet. So in the end, I find Paynyms to be a very useful tool to prevent individuals from having to post static Bitcoin addresses, again, which can be easily tracked and audited from that point moving forward, and which gives up a lot of privacy. I really like that Samourai and Sparrow are interoperable, and I look forward to more wallets implementing this. But I'm curious what you guys think. What has your experience been using Samourai or Sparrow for Paynyms? And what wallets do you think should be next on the docket to implement this privacy-preserving technology? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, subscribe, share. All those things really do help, and thank you for those of you that have already. If you want to help out the show in another way, you can always hit up these sponsors I previously mentioned down below. Shakepay, LEDN, Bitrefill, Keystone, BillFodl, they're all down here. And if you really loved what you saw, you can always drop me a Bitcoin tip, either via Twitter if you feel so inclined, or at my Strike page, which is strike.me/BTC sessions. When you head there, you can type in any amount you like. You hit the tip button, you'll be greeted with a Lightning invoice, or if you tap to the right, a regular Bitcoin QR code. With that, I'm out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.